Hello and welcome back to another video. Thank you very much for clicking on today's thumbnail. It is a little bit clickbaity, but there is a reason behind that which I will explain later on in this video. So I have to start this video by saying thank you to Becky for lending her assets to make that thumbnail possible. And Becky's sitting up here on my bed recording Waffle on a Wednesday. Right, without further ado, let's get into this week's Waffle on a Wednesday and answer some of your questions. Now Tim IM wants to know if insulating the floor of a camper van is necessary. Apparently Tim see a video where someone said that insulating the floor of a camper van is a complete waste of time. Well Tim, I have to disagree with that person's comment. I believe that insulating the floor of a camper van is absolutely vital. So allow me to digress. Now I've had a lot of experience with camper vans. My very first camper van was an old Volkswagen air-cooled bay window. It was built in 1973 and it had absolutely no insulation, including the floor. And in the winter time the floor was really cold. I mean, it was freezing. It was like standing on a block of ice. And in the summertime, when it's really hot outside, because we spend a lot of time on black tarmac, the heat from the black tarmac would radiate through the floor of the van. So during the summer the van was like an oven. So insulating the floor of a camper van, you do this for two reasons. Not only for the winter but also for the summer as well. Now Rebecca came up with a really good idea on how to insulate her floor on her camper van. So let's pop across the road and take a quick look at Rebecca's van and how we are insulating the floor on her van. It's quite unique and very effective. So let's go and take a quick look at Rebecca's van. So here we are, here's Rebecca's van. Let's take a look inside and I'll show you how we're doing the floor. So the first part of the process was to actually glue these battens down to the floor. They're glued, they're not screwed, because we wanted to avoid drilling any unnecessary holes in the bottom of Rebecca's van. And rightly so, after all it's a brand spanking new van. Now the second part was to put this dodo mat between the battens. For those of you that aren't familiar with dodo mat, it's a self-adhesive insulator and also sound deadening as well. It's not the cheapest stuff to use, but it is certainly and probably the best way to insulate a floor of a camper van. Because of this silver backing, once it's all laid in place, we're going to go over the battens with silver tape. There's one, we kind of did half of one here. And once this silver tape has filled in all the gaps, it actually acts as a vapour barrier. So it's a really good effective way to lay and insulate a floor of a camper van. Far better than the ones I've done in the past, that's for sure. Now Rebecca is recording this entire van build and uploading those videos to her channel, so if you want to see the whole entire van build series of this full Transit Custom, then head over to Rebecca's channel. I'll put a link up here or there. There'll be a link up there somewhere to Rebecca's channel where you can keep up with the entire van build process. Right, let's get back to my van and carry on with this week's Waffle on a Wednesday. Hashtag Waffle on a Wednesday. Great videos as always, fella. Just a quick question. What's the deal with the TV licenses for TVs in vans? If you have one for your house, does it cover the van, etc.? Thanks buddy, keep up the awesome content. And that comes from Surely Life. Well Surely Life, I think you answered your own question. Yes, absolutely. If you own a house or rent a house and you have a TV license, then that TV license does actually cover you to use it in your camper van. So yes, you can watch your favourite YouTube channel and also your favourite soaps in your camper van whilst you're away on your weekend trips. Thanks for the great question. Now Surely Life did start his question with hashtag Waffle on a Wednesday, and the reason he did that was to make it really easy for me to find his question. So if you've got a question for me, then please do start that question with hashtag Waffle on a Wednesday. That way it makes it a lot easier for me to find your questions. I thank you in advance. Hi Mel, I'm going to be fitting my split charger soon. Can you leave your solar switched on while driving, charging via split charger at the same time? And that comes from Mobile the Minibus. Yes you can, absolutely. You can leave your solar connected up whilst you drive your van, even though you have got a split charge relay. Ordinarily your solar charge controller will sense the higher voltage, think your batteries are fully charged and stop the solar going into your batteries at the same time whilst you drive. It's perfectly safe to have them both connected at the same time. Hundreds if not thousands of people do it just like this. So rest assured you're completely safe doing what you are doing. Thanks for the great question. Hi Mel, another great video, thank you very much. I am thinking of converting a low roof long wheelbase van to use as a daily drive as well as a camper. If the budget was £8 for the base van, which would you go for, a Vito or a Transit Custom, and why would that be? and that comes from Mark Walker. Well, Mark, I really think what van you decide to buy is really down to personal choice and also your budget. But nevertheless, buy smartly. Make sure you do all your checks, make sure it's got full service history, and make sure the mileage history shows up on all the MOTs. You can check the MOT history of any vehicle online. Just Google MOT history check and enter the registration number, and you should be able to see all the previous MOTs. And on those MOT certificates will be the mileage. That's a good way to check the mileage is correct on any vehicle, whether it be a car or a van. Also, it's a good idea to do a HPI check as well to make sure there's no hidden history on that van, like it's been written off for instance, or there's any outstanding finance. You don't want to get caught in that trap. But most importantly, do not part with any money until you physically see the van. There are a lot of scams on eBay where they list a van for sale really cheap. I mean, it's so cheap you feel that you've got to buy it because you don't want to miss out on a bargain, and that's how they catch you. You've more than likely messaged that person asking them if the van's for sale. They'll tell you, yes, the van's still for sale, but I've had a lot of interest, so if you want the van you need to leave us £500 deposit today. Don't be tempted to fall into that trap, because the chances are if it's too good to be true, then it probably is, and you're going to get scammed out of your £500 deposit. So don't ever part with any money until you physically see the van. And like I say, make sure you do all your checks, HPI check, mileage history check, and also look for a van with full service history, especially if you're paying £8 grand. That's a lot of folding to be parting with. Don't let your heart rule your head. And most of all, trust your gut instinct. Good luck, and I hope you find the van of your dreams. Just take your time, don't rush, and I'm sure you will. Now here's a heart-wrenching comment from Lisa Cherry. I hope you don't mind me reading this out, Lisa. I'm going to become homeless quite soon when my father's house is sold to pay for his care home charges. Looking at trying to buy a van to live in, as I'm told the council won't even consider to rehome me until I'm actually homeless. I was looking into trying to buy ex-ambulance, which I think have great insulation and electrics already fitted. Can you give me any advice on this? Thanks, Lisa. Well, Lisa, first of all, I'm so sorry to hear about your father having to go into care home and losing his house to pay for it. I've seen this happen so many times. It is a real sorry, sad state of affairs. So I really do understand the situation you're going through. Now, as for buying an ambulance to convert into a camper van or motorhome, I think they're a great choice because, like you say, they are pre-insulated and they do have an awful lot of electrics in. The downside is they do have a lot of electrics that are unnecessary and unusable as far as converting into a camper van is concerned. Try having a look at some of Project Amber's earlier videos when he was converting his ambulance into a motorhome. He did a whole video all about the unnecessary electrics. Well, not unnecessary, because the electrics are necessary when the vehicle's an ambulance, but when you come to convert it into a camper van, they can become quite a hindrance. There's a lot of extra wires you need to sift through and take out. So although ambulances do make good motorhomes, there is a downside, and that is actually the amount of electrics that are added that need to be taken out. So just bear that in mind and give that some consideration. Good luck, and I really do hope things work out for you. And if anyone else out there has got any suggestions for Lisa, then please do leave them in the comments of this video, and start those comments with #Lisa so that Lisa can easily find those comments. I thank you in advance. So right now, let's talk about this week's thumbnail. This brings us on to this week's Troll of the Week.
Troll of the Week.
Well, congratulations to Alone Wolf 109 for his comment that he left on a video I made quite a while ago, and he simply says, clickbait bullshit. And I guess they're referring to the thumbnail. Now, it's very difficult for any YouTuber to get anybody to watch their videos unless they've got a decent thumbnail. I mean, you wouldn't go into a bookshop and buy a book with a crappy book cover, would you? You always judge a book by its cover. So therefore, all YouTubers need a decent thumbnail, otherwise the video simply won't get any views, regardless of how good or bad the video is. Yes, I know that some YouTubers do use clickbait unnecessarily, but I personally try and make the thumbnail as entertaining and as attractive as I possibly can. So once again, thank you to Rebecca for lending her charms for making this week's thumbnail. So I hope that clears that up. Now, Stand Up and Be Campered left a comment on last weekend's video. Why oh why are people so preoccupied with how you take a dump, whatever next? Hashtag waffle on a Wednesday. Mel, have you any moisturising tips? Actually, I don't have any moisturising tips, but I know somebody that may have, and that is the lovely Rebecca.
Hello.
Do you have any moisturising tips for Stand Up and Be Campered?
I have a few if you are interested.
Oh, Monty has too.
Monty has too, yeah. My top 3 moisturisers would be 100% virgin coconut oil, shea butter, which again is organic and natural because you don't want to have any chemicals in any of these moisturisers. And the third option would be aloe vera gel. Or you could always ask this week's Troll of the Week. I wonder what he uses.
Well, thank you, Becky, for that. Now, Becky has made a video about what we got up to this summer down in Newquay, so make sure you check out Rebecca's channel and check out this video that I'm going to leave a link to up here to see her video, to see more of cheeky Rebecca's antics over the summer. Thanks for watching. Ta-da for now. Say goodbye, Becky.
Bye, Becky.